Hello, everybody. So in this video, I want to talk about the large announcement that the European Central Bank made and what exactly it means. There was several crypto that was mentioned. There was a lot of speculation that has been turned into fact across the interwebs on Twitter and YouTube. And I want to look a little into what was said and what it means specifically for QNT and possibly XRP. So, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I'm a huge quant fan. Have been for a long time, which means I've gotten used to a lot of very boring price action. I guess the same thing goes to the XRP army. Up until not too long ago, you guys were holding off as the stablecoin award. So we're all kind of in the same place. But there was a couple of announcements that were made that could be big for everybody. Yes, I'm definitely more bullish on it all with quant. I think it was more of a quant announcement personally, but again, we're all going to see things through a very biased glass, so to speak. And I'm wearing mine right now. So let's just kind of jump into it. What the hell did the Central Bank of Europe say? To dive right into it, the European Central Bank made an announcement about what's going to be going on with their testing of the digital euro through the ECB, European Central Bank, right? And they announced that there was about 70 companies. They did not give a full list of these companies, but they announced that there was about 70. They might say there was a few more than 70. And it's all going to be involved in different aspects or parts of testing this live digital euro. That's the most of it. That gets a lot bigger once we hear a little bit more. So there was a couple of companies that were listed, obviously. Quant was one that was named. XRP was not. XRP has involvement or potential involvement in other aspects of European CBDCs, which we're going to get into a little bit. But in terms of this announcement of 70 companies, I was actually a little surprised that XRP wasn't on this list because of affiliations they already have. But again, we'll get there momentarily. But the reason why this list is such a big deal is that it was divided in mostly two different categories. It was divided into pioneers and visionaries, and some companies were marked as both. Right? And Quant was listed as a pioneer partnership in this testing of the digital euro. So what the heck does that mean, saying that it is in the pioneer partnership category? So the pioneer groups, these are the ones who are going to help test the digital euro and the payment functionalities, and it's kind of like explore innovative use cases for it. The visionaries, these are going to investigate potential future applications, right? So think of it as the pioneers. These are the ones who are working on and testing what we have now. Visionaries are ones that are going to be working on possibilities of future applications, which was insinuated as, but not stated as, future uses of banking transfer. I mean, probably not directly, I'm speculating here, let me clarify. It means probably not the direct payments and transfers of wealth and storage, but maybe some of the extra stuff that comes into it, like maybe using it to pay for European stocks and bonds, or using it to transfer money from your bank and using the CBDC to buy other assets and everything. I don't know what else they would mean by it, but I guess that's why there's a team of visionary companies to come up with that stuff. When Quant was labeled as a pioneer, it means they're pretty much focusing on the technical implementation and all the conditional payments of using the digital euro. Right? So they're being hands-on tested is what this means. They're not the only one. So this is by no means, as much as I'd love to say it is, no means the announcement saying Quant is running the digital euro. What it means is it's now the official testing is one of the very few that could be running it. And now my thought, my opinion, speculation is they're going to choose more than one, right? They're going to have to choose before November because that's when the full live testing of the digital euro is going to be. For them to do full live testing, like from bank to bank, country to country, individual to bank, bank to individual, blah, 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 they need to know what they're using at that point. So I'm suspecting they're going to, I mean, they have to announce by October. They're probably going to announce sooner of which ledgers or blockchains are going to be used. There's a pretty good chance there's going to pick more than one. The reason why is, imagine if they picked quant over ledger and something happened to it. Then all of a sudden it doesn't work all of a sudden. We're going to shut down full payments all across Europe? Probably not, right? They're likely going to choose more than one, even if it's for quant being used for transferring and storage of payments from banks to banks. Maybe they'd use XRP for the individual transfers. Though I understand XRP is probably more likely to bank, but concept being, they might use them in different aspects. And if something happens to one, they can just divvy out everything and redelegate where everything goes. My thoughts. But as the pioneer, or one of the pioneer companies, what's Quant really going to be doing? Right? Directly experimenting with the digital euro. That's the biggest fucking thing, right? They're going to be specifically focused on conditional payments, which is really just the whole real world asset aspect and application of everything, right? It's going to be money only transfers once goods are received. So think of like smart contracts for CBDCs. That's kind of what Quant's going to be testing for. So it increases greatly the odds of them using this officially. The fact that the ECB decided and used quant in this way, we know that it's now technically capable and strategically relevant to be using it. Otherwise, again, they wouldn't do this live testing for it, which is freaking awesome. And with quant always being the big kingpin of interoperability, this does kind of make sense. Right? And results from these pioneer partnerships of the different ledgers and blockchains testing out from this, all that data is going to be compiled and assessed by the ECB to figure out exactly what they're going to do. Right? They're going to use this to inform the official design choices for the digital euro. So the technology that's being used for the test run is a big effing deal. And it really just shows how bearish the market is in general when you get something announced like this and price action doesn't effing move. I mean, actually, quant went down the day that this announcement was made, but everything went down that day, right? Good news only helps us if it's in a bullish, emotional market. Otherwise, most of the stuff gets past the hay side, but this will be a big effing deal down the road, specifically when they get picked. And this also just proves, if there was any question in anyone's minds, and if so, shame on you, that quant wasn't legitimate. I mean, it just proves that not only is quant, enterprise grade, but it's literally central bank grade. They wouldn't even run it if it wasn't for it. So the ECB did not publicly disclose the full list of participating organizations. So there's no confirmation on certain things, like who else is or isn't involved. Though I've heard a lot of information going on about Ripple, XRP, and I even had someone reach out to me saying, was I concerned for quant that XRP is being used for everything? And I had to retrace this really quick because there was nothing mentioned by the European Central Bank in this announcement about XRP and Ripple. With that, it doesn't mean that XRP will not be used, but I don't think it will be simply because they didn't mention it as one of the kingpins. Maybe they're keeping it a hidden secret because it's the one that they expect to use and they don't want the markets to explode. That's a great little conspiracy theory for XRP holders to hold on to, because that's what I would hold on to if roles were reversed with quant being there. But it's possible, but XRP wasn't listed. However, it's still fully possible that XRP is going to be used to some aspect in the digitization of European currency, because they are on the board and association for, this is XRP that is, for the digital euro. They're in the association, but have not been officially ran or tested with the digital euro. They're on the association for the digital pound. They're on the association for the French digital coin. So they're definitely dipping their toes everywhere, which means they're having say and opinion. We'll see if they get officially used. It's no bad news by any means, but I see it as a much larger thing for quant because they're stating it by name. So in all reality, again, I think that there's going to be more than one ledger / blockchain / technology used for the European digital dollar, and a combining XRP and quant is incredibly likely. So a couple other companies that were mentioned or listed, right? There's Cody, right? Cody, COTI, currency of the internet, right? This is it's a blockchain-based fintech platform. It's essentially a layer one that's based off of DAG. It's called Trust Chain, and this one was mentioned also as a pioneer and visionary, I believe. So again, the odds at Cody, COTI, being used is a decent chance. This announcement, maybe look into it a little bit, I'll be honest. I've heard of it before, but I can't tell you when or where. It was probably in my early days of looking up the RWA and ISO and tokenization coins. I did not buy it. I'm not going to say I won't buy it, but I'm keeping my eye on it just because of this announcement. Yeah, that's solely why. To me, this is a big enough news to look into a certain crypto for sure. There's also was announced ESMT Berlin, which is the European School of Management and Technology. This was mentioned as a pioneer innovation partner to help out with the functionalities related to the euro. And there's a couple of companies that were announced. So none of this should be surprising, but it was all kind of exciting for me, to be honest. I mean, these are not small names. When you talk about Amazon, Coxia Bank, Worldline, EPI, European Payments Initiative, and Nexi. These are large companies and they're all involved in different ways. Like they're looking at Amazon to help out with developing the e-commerce payment interfaces, Coxia Bank for working on peer-to-peer online payments, Wordline for also peer-to-peer, Nexi to help with the point of sale payments initiated by the payee. Like there's a lot of large companies going on, which they need to. So I'm glad that they have this because they literally need large companies involved with this, right? But the fact it's making it more real, guys, that we're going to have a digital euro soon. And again, I am not getting all excited because I love CBDC, right? I mean, the whole concept of a CBDC is really against the whole initial concept of cryptocurrency, right? They're centralizing it and regulating it. And however, if it's going to happen, I want some freaking skin in the game, right? And that's what gets me excited about it, is seeing opportunities that I feel like other people are passing by, which fine. Doesn't affect me one bit. What you buy or sell shouldn't affect you guys what I do, but it's exciting to me. So there's one more piece of news that is exciting-ish, right? And this is coming up soon in June 16th of this year. There is the Digital Money 2025. It's an upcoming event organized by the Future of Finance. And this is a large conference, convention, etc. That's at the Aon Center in London. I probably mispronounced that. But the conference aims, the whole aspect of it is to explore just the evolving landscape of digital currency and their impact on traditional financial systems and how they're going to integrate the two, like in operating digital currency to fiat currency, kind of like CBDCs, right, and tokenization. And one of the keynote speakers, you want to guess who that is? Good old G. Veridian, Gilbert, CEO of Quant. So that's really the announcements. I'm excited what's going to go. I'm expecting a lot more information on the digital euro soon, like June or July, when they start doing more active discussion of regulations, which I'm presuming is part of why they're starting to do a little bit of testing now to figure out what they do and don't need to nip in the bud. But exciting shit, guys. So I'm going to keep up to date on this for sure. I not to sound like a dick, but I'm not upset that prices are dropping right now. We have the Fed meeting tomorrow, I think. I believe it's on May 7th. I'll have to check on that one. Right now it's May 6th, obviously, if you couldn't figure that out based off of that context clue. But at this point, I'm not expecting them to do a rate cut. So though that's not bad news, it's nothing, right? I mean, it's status quo, it's lateralization, there's no change. The market's probably going to go down from that. So I'm already put in a few small little buy orders in case things continue to go down, because I think that if they announce that there is no rate cut, I think people are going to sell a few things, because I don't know why they will. I just patterns of people, what's going to happen. Or worst case, They do a rate cut and everything goes up, and I don't spend more money on buying more crypto. I'm fine either way with it. So you guys tell me, what do you think? Do you think I'm spot on with quant likely being one of the candidates of the CBDC? Do you think there's only going to be one? Do you think they're going to pull an XRP? What are your guys' thoughts? Put them down below. And thank you as always for being here. If you found this useful and or interesting, you guys know what to do. There's buttons down there. I'd appreciate a lot if you click them. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.